see, what is your name? Oh, this is going to be easier than I thought. I know the answer to that. That's my name. My last name is .net. No, my name is Tim Sway. I am a maker, artist. I was a musician. I like to use the term artist because like it kind of all encompasses a lot of the things that I do, but it is really sort of pretentious sounding. Maker works, and you could also call me, so I was trying to think of some different types of things to call myself at one point in time, so I came up with a hobby collector and professional child. I think that's my favorite one, professional child. So, hi, my name is Tim Sway, and I'm a professional child. I forgot to mention in that, defining myself, I work exclusively with reclaimed and upcycled materials, so you could also add environmentalist to my list, but the whole premise of this business was the mantra, the business mission statement is to make worthless things priceless. So that's the goal, is to make everything as much as possible out of reclaimed and upcycled materials. And unfortunately, I do have to buy new stuff now and then, but I would say if you were to take cumulatively, the decade that this business has been around, I would say I'm at about 80% reclaimed, 20% purchased over the course of 10 years. Some projects obviously lean more in one way or the other. But, you know, you got to look at it holistically. So maybe it's only 75-25, but still, if that much of the material that I used was stuff that was destined for the landfill or was deemed useless or worthless by other people, that's like a pretty good success rate. I'm really proud of that. Like even the scraps, like everything gets burned for heat, you know, when it gets to that point, or recycled, or taken to the scrap yard, or just continues to be used. Very little waste comes out of this shop, and that's important to me. I don't know. I mean, I'm always making stuff. I've been making. Right now, I'm working on this desk that's it's like made out of a pinball machine. It's complicated. Just made a tabletop for a lady. So there's a lot of that kind of stuff too, of just like, oh, barnwood tabletops. What I've been really into and excited about lately is making guitars. You can see some over my shoulder. I have a couple of those over there. I just finished. Here, you want to see them? I've been trying to transition my business from making furniture and whatnot into making guitars, because that's how I got started in woodworking in the first place. As a musician, I wanted to build my own instruments, and about 20 years ago I built my first bass, started learning some of the ins and outs of woodworking, and then I disappeared from it for a while, and now I'm back, so it's kind of coming full circle. But the idea is again to make the instruments out of reclaimed materials, to have as minimum of a footprint as possible. I even use like low VOC varnishes and whatnot on them. And I feel like there's so many musicians out there singing about saving the world, but they're playing these guitars that like they require being, you know, Banana Republics to deforest the Amazon and stuff. I want to see like find a better way. So this is all like pallet wood, and then this is some reclaimed walnut from an old pump organ. I use a lot of this Kumaru decking that I got a bunch of for free because someone ripped out a deck to replace a Trex deck. So I can still use these rare exotic woods without having a footprint because they were all landfill bound. And I do stuff like this too sometimes. Like this is my snow ski base. It's a double base made out of a snow ski. I've done some other silly things like that too, but there's not much of a market for things like that. I have a feeling I'll have an easier time selling these. This has a pickup on it, so you can plug it in and it's loud. But I don't know if you can hear it now. Let's see if this microphone can pick it up. It's not in tune. That's a drumstick. Yeah, I like to prove points, you know, that we don't really need to buy new things all the time, that there's a lot of things out there that can be functional. Sometimes I do it in a sort of silly way. And then sometimes I might do it in a more, you know, serious way. You know, this is some pallet wood ash. I use a lot of vinyl records in my work. And yeah, this is a great little guitar, you know, and it's all made out of reclaimed material except for a couple pieces of hardware. And I'm working on that too, eventually making all of that on my own. My favorite tool, why? It's the angle grinder, of course. I love angle grinders, and I love having different blades on each one, so I don't have to switch to, I don't even know how many I have. I have like, it looks like there's 2 up here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them. Plus I have a battery powered one over there, and that one's actually not an angle grinder. This is kind of cool though. It's like an angle grinder, but it's like this like wheel. So I don't know if we count that or not. I think I like the angle grinder because I feel like a sculptor with it, and it's not precise. It's just sort of chaotic. I love the mess coming up and the chaos of it. It's a lot of fun. It's not necessarily the best way to make, but it sure is a fun way. I hope to maybe someday get into sculpting even. I don't know. We'll see. Answering the question of like favorite project is tough. Usually what I say is like my sort of, look at this spider right here. You can't build a spider web right here, buddy. This is where I live. Come on, let's go over here. My favorite project is the one I haven't done yet. I have this sort of thing. I try not to look back. I try to always move forward. Honestly, when I'm done with stuff, I could really care less about it. For me, it's the process. And sometimes I even want to like finish painting it. I'm just like, okay, you know, that's the idea. But some of my favorite projects are conceptually, they're puns, or like silly things. Are really when I just like this snow ski base, where it's just sort of this kind of ridiculous idea that actually works. I mean, I played like 50 shows on that thing. It actually used to work. I could make it work again. That really like gets me excited. Like I made an armchair out of satellite dishes once, because like it was like a chair to sit in and watch TV. You know, like I get into silly things like that. And skill that I would like to learn, everything. Like I said, I'm a professional hobby collector. I want to be able to do everything. That's my goal. Obviously, I know that can't happen, but that's the way I want to live my life, is just always learning. It keeps you young and it keeps everything interesting. So, like I used to say when I was playing music for a living, that the way I wanted to die was, you know, I wanted to step off stage and be like, I could have done that better, and then just go. Because I just want my life to always be this progression of not like settling into anything. And I don't even really care about mastering anything. Like the CNC would be one that was lately. A couple years ago, I didn't even know how to turn a CNC on, and now I can make 3D carvings and sculptures and stuff on them. There are guys out there that just crush it on the CNC and they play it like a fiddle. I don't really care. I want to be able to do things with it. I want to have a basic understanding of it, and then I want to move on. And keep it, you know, and keep it working. So it's like if that day comes, or like, you know, welding, and like TIG welding is one I just recently started learning. I don't see myself TIG welding every day. I don't see myself TIG welding every month. But if somebody needs to be TIG welded, I know how to do it now. I have a TIG welder and I learned how to use it. I'm not going to be the best TIG welder out there, but I'm going to be able to do it. And that's really all I want to be able to do. So, I mean, to list some stuff like sewing, blacksmithing a little bit, that's pretty in right now, but that just doesn't interest me. That's pretty low on the list. Sewing, laser cutting more with the 3D carving or CNC technology. Don't really care about making 3D printers because I don't want to work with plastic. I think that we should stop accepting plastic as a viable source. Use the stuff that's here and stop making it. Yeah, just so, you know, I want to get better with hand tools. I want to paint. I want to sculpt. I want to do everything. So I can't really answer that. But thanks for checking this out. Thanks, Gil, for having me on your channel. And you can find me at timsway.net. You can find my guitars at newperspectivesmusic.com. And you can find me on YouTube at Tim Sway. And you can also find New Perspectives Music on YouTube, where I have a separate YouTube channel where I just play the instruments and explain them a little bit. And then my Tim Sway channel is like my main channel where I make stuff. What else do I have? Tim, you know, Instagram, all that crap. Just Tim Sway, you'll find me. There's plenty of crap out there. And if you look long enough, you'll find pictures of me when I was young, usually drunk without a shirt on, playing a double bass. That's also me. All right. Be good.